The most beautiful song of the Jimi Hendrix canon is Little Wing. It's just this gorgeous song that, as a guitar player, you can study your whole life and not get down, never get inside it the way he does. He seamlessly weaves chords and single note runs together and uses chord voicings that don't appear in any music book. Those were the words of Tom Morello, the former guitarist of Rage Against the Machine who currently performs as the Night Watchman. Morello said these words in an interview with Rolling Stone last December when the magazine announced its list of the 100 greatest guitar players of all time. Topping the list was Jimi Hendrix, a nearly unanimous choice by the panelists that included top music writers and critics, as well as a slew of guitar gods who made the list themselves. In the months that followed, internet message boards lit up with discussion, and Rolling Stone received a pile of letters and emails criticizing the choice. It seems as though many people today simply don't understand just what made Jimi so unique, so special that more than 40 years after his death, his legacy as the greatest guitarist in history is still secure. Here's Henry Rollins, an icon in the music industry, talking about his love of Jimi Hendrix.
To me, the significance of Jimi Hendrix is what he did with the guitar, how, when he started playing, what he did with it, where he took music in such a brief amount of time. I mean, dead at 27 with this incredible body of work behind him, more than pretty much any contemporary guy has done. Like Eric Clapton's had 30 years at it now, and it's still, he's dwarfed by this kid who died a long time ago. And Eric Clapton's great, but Jimi Hendrix comes once in the history of the world. And we're just lucky enough that we were able to get him on tape and video and film and whatnot. And to me, my favorite thing about Jimi Hendrix, besides all that talent and all that soul, is his love of the blues. And how such a young guy was able to articulate blues music, make it his own. And by the end of his career, he was a serious bluesman, a bluesman to be reckoned with. And that's a genre of music, and you better have your licks together, because someone will come and dress you down very quickly. And he really had it.
In case you need more proof, just keep asking other great guitarists and they'll all tell you Jimi Hendrix was the best guitarist of all time. Here's what photographer Jared Minkovich had to say to BBC Radio about the first time he ever saw Jimi Hendrix perform in England.
I first met Jimi in '66, in I think November 1966. He'd just arrived in London. Chaz Chandler, the former bass player with the Animals, had discovered him in New York, brought him over, and was putting on a little showcase gig at a club called the Bag of Nails in Kingly Street. Now, this event has been widely written about, and I always think, my memory says that every major rock star, rock guitarist, rock star personality was in that club on the day, and obviously they weren't. But I'm pretty sure that Pete Townsend was there, and I think Eric Clapton might have been there, and Jeff Beck was there. And there's no doubt that everybody in the room was completely blown away by Jimi. I mean, his performance, his sound, his energy, his appearance, his charisma was just overwhelming and took everybody by surprise. So that was my first sight of him.
Michael Alsop, the guitarist for Three Dog Night, had this to say. In my opinion, Jimi Hendrix was the best guitar player that ever was. There are others that are faster and so on and so forth, but Jimi was unique in so many ways. When he played, it was as though his thoughts went straight from his head right to the guitar and then back again. Check him out in some of the existing film footage. At times, you would swear that the guitar was playing him, this lanky figure that just owned the guitar. He was amazing. His sense of melody permeated even his wildest jams. When he played the guitar, it sang, and his legacy is secure. There are many great guitar players in this world, very many. Still, Jimi Hendrix was the very best I've ever heard or seen. For me, nobody else could compare to him. He launched an approach, an attitude that still rings out loud and clear through all the rock guitarists that have come down the pike since him. He'll forever burn in the history of rock and roll, and rightfully so. Once again, here's what Tom Morello had to say. Jimi Hendrix exploded our idea of what rock music could be. He manipulated the guitar, the whammy bar, the studio, and the stage. On songs like Machine Gun or Voodoo Child, his instrument is like a divining rod of the turbulent 60s. You can hear the riots in the streets and napalm bombs dropping in his version of Star Spangled Banner at Woodstock. His playing was effortless. There's not 1 minute of his recorded career that feels like he's working hard at it. It feels like it's all just flowing through him. There are some arguments about who is the first guitar player to use feedback, but it really doesn't matter because Hendrix used it better than anyone. It's impossible to think of what Jimmy would be doing now. He seemed like a pretty mercurial character. Would he be an elder statesman of rock? Would he be Sir Jimi Hendrix? Or would he be doing some residency off the Vegas Strip? The good news is his legacy is assured as the greatest guitar player of all time.